Cats don't approach everyone the same way. The way one walks up to you, stops near you, or presses against your leg is basically a tiny report on what it thinks of you. And today, we're decoding every version of it. Let's start with the easiest one to spot. You're sitting there, minding your own business, and a cat locks eyes with you from across the room and just commits. No hesitation, no zigzag, no fake out toward the couch first. It walks in a straight line, tail up, body loose, like it already made a decision before it even moved. That confidence is not nothing. Cats are famously particular about who gets to enter their space uninvited. In the wild, closing distance on another animal is a risk. So when a cat voluntarily shortens that gap without any coaxing, it's usually making a small bet that you're not a threat. Translate that into human terms, and here's what it says about you. You probably come across as predictable. Not boring, predictable. Calm energy. No sudden movements. Nothing that reads as unstable. Somehow, without doing anything, you passed a background check you didn't even know was happening. Now let's zoom in on the tail, because the tail is basically doing half the talking. A cat walking toward you, with its tail up and slightly curved at the top, is giving you what a lot of behaviorists call the feline greeting posture. It tends to be the opposite of a tense, puffed or tucked tail, which more often signals stress or uncertainty. An upright, relaxed tail reads a lot closer to an open, friendly wave. So if a cat approaches you and that tail is standing tall like a little flagpole, you're probably not just being tolerated, you're being actively greeted. That's the cat's whole body helping announce, "Oh, hey, it's you." Kind of like someone spotting you across a crowded room and actually looking happy about it, instead of pretending they didn't see you. Congratulations. You got the good wave. And it's easy to miss this one, honestly, because it happens fast. Most people are focused on whether the cat is coming toward them at all, not on what the tail is doing while it happens. But once you start watching for it, you'll see it everywhere. The same confident walk with a low, swishing, uncertain tail tends to carry a very different feeling than that walk with a tall, gently curved tail on top. Same legs, same speed, different message. Now, let's turn the volume up a little, because sometimes a cat doesn't just walk over, it walks over and makes contact. You know this one. The cat strolls up, presses its cheek or the side of its body against your leg, maybe loops around once, and then just keeps walking like nothing happened. Meanwhile, you're sitting there completely recalibrated, thinking about nothing else for the rest of the day. That head and body rub is scent marking, and it's a lot more social than people assume. Cats have scent glands around their face and along their sides, and rubbing them against something or someone blends their scent with yours. It's less, "I hereby claim this human as property," and more, "This is part of my safe zone now." Familiar smell, familiar space, familiar person. It also tends to happen more with people and things the cat already feels comfortable around, rather than completely at random, which makes it feel less like a reflex and more like a small vote of confidence, even if the occasional cat breaks that rule and rubs on a total stranger just to keep us humble. So, what does it say about you? It says your presence has likely been filed under safe and known. You're not a stranger anymore. You're part of the environment the cat has decided doesn't need to be monitored. Which, if you think about it, might be one of the more understated compliments an animal can give a person. You've become furniture. Good furniture. All right, Now let's get into the ones that are a little trickier to read. Sometimes a cat approaches, gets partway toward you, and then just stops. It sits a few feet away. Maybe it stares. Maybe it sniffs the air. Maybe it looks at you, looks away, looks back. At this point, most people panic a little. Does it like me or not? Why is it just staring? Did I do something wrong? Take a breath, because this pause isn't automatically rejection, it's often evaluation. Cats tend to be natural assessors before they're natural affection givers. Pausing partway through an approach can mean the cat is gathering more information before committing fully, which is a pretty normal part of how they build trust. It doesn't always mean fear. Sometimes it's just due diligence. Here's the part that actually matters for you. If the cat keeps choosing to come closer instead of retreating, even slowly, even across several minutes, that persistence is usually the real signal, not the hesitation. What it says about you is that you're probably offering enough safety to outweigh the uncertainty, especially if you're not the one rushing the process. The thing that tends to speed this along is doing almost nothing. No reaching, no leaning in, no cooing, just existing calmly nearby. Patience tends to read as safety more often than not. Speaking of doing nothing, let's talk about the scenario basically everyone with a cat has lived through. 5 people are in the room. 4 of them are actively trying to get the cat's attention, calling it over, patting their lap, making little kissy noises. And the cat walks straight past all of them and climbs into the lap of the one person who's completely ignoring it. The one person who technically didn't even want to be bothered right now. Everyone else takes this personally, immediately. I have 3 cats at home. How does this one not like me? Meanwhile, the person who just got chosen is usually mid-sentence about something completely unrelated, not even trying. This isn't the cat being contrarian for fun, even though it definitely looks that way. Direct staring, leaning over an animal, loud enthusiastic noises, quick movements toward it. These can all register as intense, even when the intention behind them is pure affection. Meanwhile, the person who isn't pursuing the cat is unintentionally broadcasting the opposite. No pressure, no agenda, plenty of space. So, if cats gravitate toward you specifically in rooms full of people who insist they're cat people, here's the less mystical and more likely explanation. It's probably not some secret magnetism you were born with. It's your body language. Calm posture, low intensity, no chasing, a willingness to let the animal make the first move. Cats tend not to reward eagerness the way dogs sometimes do. More often, they reward restraint. You're not a cat magnet. You're just easy to be around. Now, this next one raises the emotional stakes a little because it involves vulnerability. A cat approaches, circles you once or twice, and then dramatically flops onto its side, sometimes rolling partway onto its back, belly exposed. It's a whole performance. And the instinct most people have is to go straight in for a belly rub because it looks like an invitation. Here's where we need to slow down for a second, because this is where a lot of well-meaning people get scratched. Exposing the belly, one of the most vulnerable parts of a cat's body, does tend to indicate comfort and trust. It usually means the cat feels safe enough around you to drop its guard in that moment. What it doesn't automatically mean is, please touch this area immediately. For a lot of cats, the flop is a display more than a request. So, the honest interpretation is this. The cat trusts you, And trust still comes with boundaries. Being trusted with someone's vulnerability isn't the same as having unlimited access to it. Some cats do genuinely enjoy a belly rub. Plenty do, but that permission usually shows up a second or two later in how the cat reacts to a slow, testing hand, not in the flop itself. Read the room. Or, in this case, read the cat. Okay, last one. And this is the one that tends to sting a little, so let's handle it properly. A cat approaches you, gets close, maybe sniffs your hand or brushes past you once, acknowledges you exist, and then just leaves. No lingering, no cuddle, no dramatic goodbye. It simply walks off and goes about its day like the interaction never happened. And the human reaction is almost always the same. Wait, excuse me. I thought we had something. Before you spiral into thinking the cat secretly dislikes you, let's reframe what actually just happened. The cat approached voluntarily. Nobody forced that. It chose to close the distance, gather whatever information it wanted, sensory, social, curiosity-driven, and then decided it had reached its preferred amount of interaction for that moment. That's not rejection. That's a completed transaction. The cat got what it came for and moved on, the same way a person might say a quick hello in a hallway without stopping for a full conversation. The approach itself is still meaningful, even if it's short. Especially if it's short. A cat doesn't usually walk towards something it wants to avoid. And honestly, this might be the most important thing on this entire little list. Being genuinely good with cats often isn't about maximizing contact. It's about letting them dictate both how close and how far they go, without taking either one personally. The people cats seem to trust the most tend to be the ones who never turn a cat's independence into a referendum on their own worth. So, if you've made it through this whole list nodding along, here's the actual thread connecting all 7 of these behaviors. Cats keep coming back to people who make interaction feel voluntary, unhurried, and safe, not people who chase the hardest. If that's you, you're not imagining it. You're just doing the one thing that actually works with them, giving them room to choose you.